If you don't already have a tape echo in your plugin collection, you probably want one and don't even know it. Most important place to start: what is the difference between an echo and a delay? An echo is a type of delay, and you could say a tape echo is a type of echo. This is one of the things I really feel like Bitweight is missing. So when Cherry Audio offers it for $30, currently 20, it's something really nice to pick up. The most popular variation of something like this is probably the Sound Toys Echo Boy. Super reliable. It's used in Hollywood sound design a lot. I just can't afford it. But what Sound Toys Echo Boy does is emulates a bunch of old hardware, just a wide variety of tape echoes. One of those tape echoes is the Roland Space Echo. What's great about the Roland Space Echo is it's made by Roland. So this chorus right here, it's probably a Boss CE or the chorus that you would find on a Roland Jazz Chorus guitar amp. It could be a Boss CE2, but that would be a little lame. The CE1 is what's really deep and tasty. So already with this chorus, we have a classic Roland vibe. We jump over here to the echo, and this is where the device will really shine. A tape echo will be tied to a reel, or in this case, for the Roland device, it would be a capstan, which is more kind of like a Walkman reel. And then there will be a piece of magnetic tape around it that you can write music onto. Except as it spins around, it is erased as it reaches the end and new audio is copied onto it. So it's just a playback machine from the tape era. Because it's a playback machine from the tape era, they wanted to cut back on mechanical noise so you wouldn't find this wow flutter knob. Each iteration of this device would be more of an attempt to cut back on this wow and flutter noise because that's just hardware noise. It's like it'd be like a bad ground, except instead of it being an issue with your electrical current, it's just a mechanical issue, but it's still noise in the same way. But now we've grown to like that textured noise, especially as we can compare it to digital delays and digital analog delays. That's not to say those are bad and lifeless. It's just these are quote unquote lo fi devices. They're retro sounds, whatever you want to call it, but they're not just that. Lastly, there's a reverb and an EQ. The reverb is a spring reverb, which just sends the audio through one side of a spring and out the other. And imagine if you flick the spring, after you flick it once, it goes back and forth a couple times. It's kind of the same thing where after the initial audio finishes traveling through the reverb, the spring continues to vibrate and that creates a reverberation like effect. People were just like trash spring reverb sometimes. I don't understand why they hate it. Sometimes there's a place for it, sometimes there isn't. Usually, spring reverb fits better inside of a mix with another reverb on top of it versus outside of a mix, like everything going through the springs, because it is kind of a dinky idea to say the least. But it's also a fun and clever idea. I'm pretty sure you can tune the springs, right? Like, not like you would tune a guitar, but someone really, really smart and capable could tune a spring and then maybe put a couple tuned springs together and have a fancy reverb. So, where would you use this device? Let's start with using it on a lead. Just in case you weren't present for the Bitwig video, because I know a lot of people do not have Bitwig. All right, my cat is cooing for attention, so who knows what will happen. So let's give some stereo range to the flute, give it some ambience. Not bad. I'm going to tighten it a bit, down the intensity, lower that volume, lower the reverb, up the treble. Now let's give it some tape. I want really deep tape over time. Kind of like that. Oh, that's my cat clawing at stuff. Dude, I'm gonna have to kick you out. I'm giving the cat one more chance before I send him to lonely jail. See where I'm at. Yeah, that kind of gives it the vibe I want. And that's kind of what this is. It's a vibe device. Stereo. No stereo. Right, in the 70s, you didn't want a tape device to have that long-term LFO, but now we suck. Now on the chords, I think I'm just going to use the chorus. I want a slow chorus, but it's choppy triplets. And I'll throw another one on a bus. All right, let's add a reverb on top of it. I'm trying to get the sizzle into it, but not too much. And there's the two reverb channels together with the echo going through and everything. All right, let's mute them. It's the nicer of the reverb. This is my outside reverb in my mind. And this is what's coming from inside the house. No outside reverb. Personally, if I were doing this not for YouTube, I probably wouldn't have done that. And yeah, up that. Yeah, you guys get the point. It's a delay, but it's a fun delay. Let's throw it on the drums for fun before I'm out of here. Get some fancy sound design work out. I like that. Sync it up. Let's run the dry one. Like, I'm not someone who feels like you need to buy specific plugins from specific developers, say FabFilter, for instance. You don't need a FabFilter plugin. They're nice to have, but they are also expensive. A tape echo is going to be a sound that you already know in your head, even if you don't know how to like say, I want a tape echo. You hear these all the time. So if you don't have one, you're going to be missing it. So yeah, 30 bucks, 20 bucks for the time being for one of these. If you have the money, shell out for the Sound Toys one. Arturia has one, probably a little more demanding on the CPU. I think this is really nice performance-wise. It's almost as if Cherry Audio is reacting to the higher priced companies like Arturia, because this is a lot like an Arturia plugin browser in my opinion, like with what's going on up here. And don't get me wrong, I love Arturia, I love Pigments, but I'm also broke. So if you don't have a tape echo, I think you should try this one out. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet, consider checking out these samples. They're free, they're on my website, signalfraud.com.